on today's episode of The Real DJ Show.
We don't get to say
in the booth. Andre's on the casting couch. We're not calling it. Is not called the casting couch. That is not what it's called.
I'm more worried about the power cable that's running in the background, like where that's going, why it's not better protected. But I think this guy's trolling the shit out of us.
Yes, I think that's true. You're mostly right. But as with everything that you do, it's close.
No, but look, you've done way more weddings than we've had, because, you know, for most people, 1, 2, up to probably 4.
Hey, this is Brian from PB Backdrops. We are here at MEX, and you're listening to the Real DJ Show here at MEX. And if you're not using my backdrops, your backdrops suck.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Okay, so it's the special birthday week edition of The Real DJ Show. But first, before I wipe John's ass up during his birthday with BPM, we're going to go to a little segment called The One Thing. But first,
we don't get to
Vicky's
say
in
hi.
the booth. Andre's on the casting couch. We're not calling it. It is not called the casting couch. That is not what it's called. John's over here.
Hi.
Contemplating an ass whooping.
I'm gonna whoop you like I can't think fast enough.
No, don't do it.
No.
Yeah, that's all good. Yeah. All right, let's kick this thing.
But we're gonna start it off as we always do with the one thing. Mickey, give me that one thing video.
I wake up, flex, thumb down now, check, no drip, this, tell 'em run it up, no sleep, no rest.
Live from La Vista, Nebraska, which we're have to find out where the hell that is. It's our boy Jesse from Chaos Productions. What's up, Jesse?
Not much, man. You know, La Vista, Nebraska. It's Omaha, Nebraska. Everybody's heard of Omaha. They don't exactly know where Nebraska is, but let's just say it's in the middle of the country. That's
Don't
good
they
enough.
make steaks?
They do, and it's famous for Peyton Manning's at the line calls, I suppose. But I'll tell you a quick story. I remember I was 16 years old. I was moving with my parents, but it was just me and my mom in a minivan. We were driving from Virginia Beach, Virginia to California.
Yeah.
And apparently there's no way to avoid Nebraska if you're making this journey. And I remember the Corn Palace. Is that still a thing? Is that still there? Is that in Omaha? I don't know where that is.
So Omaha is a small little dot in a giant, boring state of Nebraska. Omaha is the only city. So, yeah, I think there's something called the Corn Palace, but I try not to venture out into the sticks, if you will.
It's a tourist trap, I'm sure.
All right. Well, look, it doesn't matter the state. I mean, you threw down one hot ass
Holy
little ball
God.
set. Man, we were digging your vibe and stuff, and we had a blast. That hat must be iconic for you, but you know,
We remember the guy. This guy.
nice job, man.
'Cause
It was fun.
So we had a good night that night. We were, it was the night before actually our presentation. So we didn't get after it too hard like we did on the Wednesday night. But that night, what sticks to us was that dude in the hat was freaking fire. I mean, we remember that specific. We had a bunch of friends. Alex Updike was up that night.
Yep.
And, we do remember, dude, that guy Jesse was crazy fire. I was like, we got to get that guy on the show. So Mickey, good job getting Jesse, because we were stoked. Man, what goes into when you're putting a set like that together? Was that
So that was, you know, I'm a wedding DJ through and through. That's what my business is. That's what we do. I definitely mix. I definitely, you know, provide that energy, but we knew we were going to Vegas. We knew we only had 20 minutes to throw down. So we definitely dug into those crates, figured out how we could really quick mix the shit out of that thing. Cause you know, if I get Vegas for 20 minutes, I'm going to take every bit of it I can get.
Heck yeah.
That was dope.
Yeah, nice job.
It was very dope.
That was fun.
All right, so real quick, this segment is called The One Thing. So we'd love if you could give us that Reader's Digest version of your origin story and, hey, what makes you different in Nebraska?
Yeah, so in a nutshell, I guess I was a musician from about 8 years old. I was a drummer. I was in garage bands growing up. All my bandmates kind of moved away and went to college. I needed a way to keep performing music and stay on stage, so I kind of became a bar DJ at 19 years old.
Sweet.
living the dream,
Sweet.
meeting the girls at 19 that are in there drinking all that good stuff.
Hell yeah.
Over the years, it evolved into how can I make money doing this? And that's how weddings kind of came about. And here I am 20 years later, and weddings is all I do. It's been my full time for about 8 years.
Awesome. Sweet.
And out here in the Omaha market, really what I've learned through mentors and conferences and, presentations like you guys gave is really all of our brand is attention to detail, luxury, high end. We want the bougie brides that want the best of the best.
Yeah.
And that's really our target demographic.
So when you say our, is there, do you own the company? Do you have a partner, or you have multi, or what's going on?
Yeah. So I've always been the sole owner of the company. We're a multi-op. We've got 6 DJs. We do photo booth and stuff as well. June last year, I brought on a business partner. He's owned his own DJ company for about 6 years, about 5 hours away from me. We've been really good friends through networking. We always joked about it. It'd be cool if we could team up. And in June, he relocated his family, moved them all down here. And now
crazy.
We've got a bright couple years ahead of us as far as, the merge and kind of taking over one step further.
Great. Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. That's awesome.
I do have to ask. So you're talking about luxury and weddings, and how did chaos come into the titling? Where did that come from?
So that actually goes back to like my garage band days. I was a bachelor pad, 20 years old. My living room was a recording studio, and I would record bands and hip hop artists. And it was Chaos Productions before it was even a DJ company.
That's awesome.
And it just stuck. I've had clients over the years say, I don't know if we want chaos in our wedding plans. I just tell them that's just the brand. That's not what we're going to bring for you.
I dig it. Well, I agree though that it is high-end brands. I kind of come to know you through the social media and following what you do. You have a very signature look. And I would say I think what's so cool is, kind of post Vegas, or I don't know if those pictures were recent that you posted, but there was like some corporate events, or I think there was a St. Patrick's Day thing or something. And the setup was like no holds barred, right? It wasn't like sometimes a DJ comes, look, you're going to go do some St. Patrick's Day thing, and it's some stripped down version of it. The setup is nasty. And just because I've got you here, we do the setup wars segment we're going to have you be part of here in a minute. And I knew like last week's episode, I don't know if it aired last week, but the one we recorded last week, I'm 95% sure that one of the pictures was yours.
Yeah.
And it blew doors, and it was easily the best one. You know, that kind of signature look that you have the wash effect sitting on top of the totems, which is something we like a lot. And I saw that, I'm like, oh shit, I think that's Jesse's. I better give this a good score because he's coming on next week. But anyway, it blew doors. It was good.
Yeah. So really when it comes to my setup, I've gotten spoiled over the years. So I use one of the Toadmatic luxury booths.
Yeah.
I always had Technique 1200s that were in my office that I would play on. And I was like, they're not feasible to haul to a wedding, all the setup and tear down and risk of them getting broken. And so I was like, how can I get these to a gig and actually use them? So I got the Toadmatic, and now I've been using that for about 2.5 years. And literally that setup you see, the reason I use that even at bars is because it's a 10-minute setup, 10-minute tear down. I'm in and out.
It looks crazy though. That's
good.
awesome.
And it really fits into your branding too. I mean, you don't even have to play a note, and you just look at it so crisp and clean, and
and him too. I mean, I think that it's a very signature look too. People see that and know it's.
Well, I mean, just look at it right now. I mean, you're wearing a white hat, you're wearing a white hoodie, you got white behind you. I mean, you got white lettering. I mean, that.
Oh, there we go.
There it is, bro. Oh, there it is.
That was the mic drop.
There it is.
Bleep out my F-bomb, but god damn, it's a good day. All
Love
of a
that.
Right. You know what's so funny, Jess? I'm stoked that you have that. That was very nice of you. But like, we were at that the Wednesday night kind of ending party at MEX, right? And there was some drunk chick who had that shirt on all cut up, like, oh, okay, we finally made it, right?
Yeah.
Like some chick we don't know cut up our shirt and is wearing it at this party. Okay, we made it.
I love that.
But yeah, there's a brand. I mean, look at that. It looks very crisp and clean. And nice job, man.
I feel great.
All right. Even it's got white pillows too.
He looks great. All right, so we're gonna keep Jess. We got a core topic to do here. We're gonna put a pin in Jess real quick.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna come back and have him do a BPM with us.
All right. So let's get you go in the green room, and we'll be back.
Have cocktails in the green room. We'll be right back.
Sounds good.
Let's go.
I wake up, flex, thumb down, now check. No drip, this wet. Tell 'em run it up. No sleep, no rest.
So we're gonna
All
get
right,
down to
we are
our
live.
core topic. Rich is
two
filming the filming.
That's right.
I'm distracted. I'm easily distracted by shiny things and squirrels. All right. So core topic today. We have Dre here at the table. We got the boss man over on the couch there, and we're gonna get into it. So the theme of our core topics lately has been uncomfortable conversations. We're going to expand upon that theme today. Now, there's been a topic. I mean, it's been a topic for DJs forever. I mean, as long as I've been a DJ. But it's been a topic of conversation on a lot of people's YouTube channels. I think Nick just talked about it. So the topic today is, how do you handle it when a client has a playlist that's challenging? And that could be a do not playlist that's full of bangers, or it's a must playlist full of lame, or some combination. How do you handle that, and why you should or should not be stressed about that? But look, we had this actually in a BPM question. So before we get into the deepest of this, I'll ask you guys, what's worse to you? A do not playlist that's full of bangers, or a must playlist full of lame? Now, I think I debated Chi-Town on that when it came up, but I'll pose it to you too. So what's worse to you guys? The must playlist full of lame, or the do not playlist full of bangers?
I'll say a must playlist full of lame. Because even if you have a do not playlist that's full of bangers, I mean, let's say there's 50 songs on your do not playlist. And
It should be a lot. That'd be a big list.
That'd be a big list. And they are all your bangers. They are all the ones they're your go-to. They're your wheelhouse. My thought is that for every 50, there's another 50 somewhere. And using their must playlist, or their play if possible list, or however you do your lists, you can find out what vein of music is most intriguing to them. And there are bangers in just about every genre that you can still use.
Rich?
What's more stressful for me is the must playlist full of weirdness. You know, and I recently
You guys are great.
Yeah. It's you know, I can find Hot Fire. There's Hot Fire that is still Hot Fire, and I don't remember it because things phase out.
That's
right?
a good point. True story.
So you know, dealing with a list full of shots or Don't Stop the Party or whatever hotness is on, you know, rotation right now, it's just dealing with like Duran Duran. Like, what am I supposed to do with that? Like, can I? Yeah. And they further handcuff you that it's got to be during dancing. So that's stressful to me. It's challenging. I'll take the challenge, but it's stressful.
Now, I'm the host of this today, so I guess I don't offer my opinion, but I disagree with both of you guys about what stresses me out worse. I'm way more stressed out about the do not playlist full of bangers, because it's, for me, there's prep, but now it's not just the prep that you have to stress about. It's the in the moment, where my normal reaction to certain things would be play certain songs. Now I'm looking at my list all night. Was that okay? Is that a do not play? Because if my natural reaction is to play something, now I have to go look to see if it's on a do not playlist. That, to me, that seems more stressful. But I won't argue with you guys. But you had more.
Also, if they have a must play playlist that's full of weirdness, they are more in tune, and I think you said this the other day, they're more in tune to their guests and their family, or it was Rich, and who knows, maybe you don't think Duran Duran, for instance, is a banger, but there's some significance to their core friend group or family that you drop Duran Duran and
well,
they flood the dance floor.
Don't stop now, but you're making my point. Because for me, because I'm less stressed about a must playlist full of lame, because I assume that they know more than me about their friends and family and what they're going to react to. Maybe not.
Not all the time.
Not all the time.
Yeah.
But I've seen plenty of times where this is my must play list and you play it and they don't even react. Like the couple doesn't even look up from their drink. I'm like, this is on your list.
Yeah.
But as many times as that happens has been the times where, oh God, here comes this lame song on their must play list and I'm cringing. I'm ready to dive under the table as I hit play. And when I do it, it erupts because it's some crazy family tradition, Rosalita by Bruce Springsteen. I'm like, that song is a good enough song, but I'm at a wedding. And you play it and the place blows up. Like, oh, okay. So you feel, in my mind anyway, that I'm hoping that at least they know. But I get it. Different things stress us out, and both have pros and cons of what stresses out more. But regardless of this, though, right? I mean, our job at whatever level is to make people dance. That's why they've hired a DJ versus putting an iPod together.
Entertainment.
Right.
Yep. They had plenty of options.
They had. And they picked us instead of a cheaper option because they are expecting us to make this happen, to use whatever terms you want to use, to make it happen. And so how do you have the conversation if, Rich, by your vast experience, that what they've presented is going to be a challenge to the result that we think they want? How do we have that conversation?
Well, I'm right up front with them. I would rather have that conversation now than on the dance floor when we're chewing time and their wedding day is passing them by. So I'm doing things now this season to mitigate that and to eliminate those conversations. So when we go into the planning workshop, they already know what they get and what to expect. For instance, I'm not the country DJ of the company. I'll throw that out there right now. But, I dealt with this last year, and it was just, I'm like, hey, listen, just so you know, I'm reading things right now, and I don't, mean any disrespect to your curated list. But if this doesn't work, how would you like me to handle that? Can I go and give you what I think would because you're telling me you want people to enjoy themselves and pack the dance floor, and I don't know if Crocodile Rock is going to do it. So, and typically what happens is, I had one client last year that says, nope, please don't stray from the list. And people are going to know this came from Sarah and I. Right. And it did. I was at the wedding and people enjoyed themselves. But here's the thing. It's not about like what I want to play at their wedding. That's the issue at hand. First off, they hired a DJ. All right. We could have lost to iPad. All right. Second off, there's 1,000,004 different DJs in Rochester. They picked us. Then they made another decision. Out of the 13 DJs that are in our stable, they picked me.
This is a big point for me.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of choice here. So a couple of things. I have a certain era about me. I have a certain vibe that I give off. All right. It's not fake. It's just me real as a person. So you pick that. you know that. I don't play Morgan Wallen in my open house sets. I play Pitbull and I play EDM. So that's the thing. But they're making a choice and they work hard for their money. And I want them to get the most out of that investment. So if they want me to play Crocodile Rock, I'll play freaking Elton John.
Right. So you're about to add something to that. But then I have some more questions.
Yeah, so Rich touched on one of the other points that I wanted to make is that we do planning workshops with these guys where we have the ability to see their lists and talk to them about it and go over it with them.
Right.
And that's when you have the conversation. And you say, okay, listen, you have 5 Pitbull songs on your Do Not playlist. These are all songs that I would normally gravitate towards. That's when you ask the question, are you totally against Pitbull or just these 5 songs?
What is this Pitbull? Sorry, go ahead.
And also at that planning workshop, you talk to them about, the same thing Rich said. If this isn't working, is this more of a guideline or is this a strict rule? Also, Rich pointed out, and I was going to point out as well, they choose their DJ.
I got to hit on this point. This is because you said it and you said it. I have some thoughts about that too.
Yeah.
You know, for me, look, I think that the DJ company's responsibility is to mitigate as much of this before they've hired us as possible, right? And the way you do that is you try to show the client the product they're buying.
Correct.
And I think this probably is a big, this is not, let's be honest. We're talking about this. It's a great topic of conversation. It's engaging, and DJs go through this. We don't deal with this that often. And the reason why we don't deal with it that often is we show the client lots of examples of the product in advance. They're making an educated buying decision about our company. Not only are they hearing about us and we're showing them our DJs in virtual open houses and, parties that we throw that you can come and hear the DJs live and all these things that we do. Not only are they hearing the company at large and kind of the style of DJs that we are, they're picking their DJ. And you guys both made this point, and both times I went, bing, we've got to talk about this, because I do have a client this year and they seem super sweet and very nice. But literally their do not play list looks like it was copy and pasted from every open house set that I did. Right? Like literally they're listening to my open house sets. Something about me made them choose me, the referral or whatever. But it's literally like they listened to all my open house sets and made their do not play list. Yep, we hate all of that. Right? So I guess I have to question, like, why did you pick me? Is it you like the way I look in a black hat? Like you think I'm funny? I don't know what that is, but we do have to ask that question when it does happen. Like, man, why did you pick me? It's interesting to me that we get these lists, and not very often, very seldom. I think we do. I think the answer to all of this is you show them the product in advance and they pick smartly. But like, it is funny, right? Like,
your reputation precedes you on this. So you've heard great things about event management. You've heard great things. I got to have John. I got to have Andre or whatever. And, they're looking at you as an artist, and they don't know what type of music you listen to, or we tell them, hey, listen, if you don't like what you hear on open house, we can do more. Okay, sure. Cool. Then very good. I'll pick.
But
John,
I think the danger that I think when we talk about the education piece and all these conversations, are like, hey, educate the client. I think there has to be some education, though, or some conversation about there's no magic wand.
Right.
Like, I don't have a button that says dance on my deck that no matter what it is I'm playing, I can somehow convert that into something that will make people engaged in it. Right.
One thing I want to add, which is I think very, very important, it's how you communicate this to the client. You can't just come out and tell them, listen, sorry guys, your list is shit. Right. It's never gonna work. What the F are you thinking? You know what I mean? You can't do that.
Right.
But if you tweak that in your delivery and you say, hey guys, listen, okay, so in my years of observing people and being at countless weddings, I've seen this work or this not work as well. People are going to respond. I don't care what profession you are.
Or to admit you don't know this music as well as other kinds of music.
Right. Yeah. Like I had a wedding last year that was Lebanese and Jewish and another flavor in there. But I was just like, listen, guys, I don't know this, so I need to get specifics here. But if you're leaning on your years of experience, and I don't care what profession you are, plumber, handy person, whatever, people are hiring you because they don't know what you know, and they're going to trust your experience.
Exactly.
Which I think is why it's important to still have that conversation of, hey, I want whatever you want. I just want you to know that there is I can't just sprinkle fairy dust on anything that's just going to make people dance.
Right.
I don't know this music as well. I would have some questions about how this is going to work. What's our backup plan? I think you brought that up. If this isn't working, what would you like me to do? Because I've had plenty of weddings where, I say plenty because we do tons of weddings. This is still not very common, but I've had plenty of weddings in my years and years where I've had a restrictive list. And by the time their event happens, they're like, yeah, just do your thing. Because they see that the times where I've just done my thing, the party erupts. Mm-hmm. And then when I'm shoehorning whatever into it is when things slow down and
play more Ruski.
It's the closest I've ever been to a fight at a wedding.
So I've been in a handful of instances where I've had that conversation with them, and they've said we'd like to have as many of our must plays played, but if they're not working, then we trust you. You've done way more weddings than we've had, because for most people 1, 2, up to probably 4. But I've also been on the other side of it where I do my check-ins with them and I'm like, all right, we've got probably, 10 more must plays left. And, strategically you pick when to play their must plays to maximize your danceability. And you've left probably 10 on the list, and the bride and groom look at you and go, dude, we don't even care about that anymore.
Right.
Just keep doing what you're doing.
That's way more common than anyone who's ever tapped on their list and said, "You've deviated. Get back to work."
I think you'll be able to find out too, right? I mean, you can get a sense of how this party's going to be, like in that planning workshop. You're like, hey, what level of dancing are we going to rage? Oh, we're going to rage, man, or like, I don't know.
That's an interesting point.
So it's like, and those rager type parties that I'm not really worried about it. I'm very much looking forward to it. But on those little fence parties, right, where it's like, I don't know, then I'll come out with this phrase. I'll be like, hey, no problem. Listen, I'm gonna get through your list. We're gonna have a great time. But I also want to let you know too that if people don't dance, and it seems like you're a little concerned about that, the last time you went into a bar and joined some great music, how many people were dancing? I realize as a professional that you don't have to dance to have a great time.
You just read my mind.
True story.
Are we discounting the fact, I was about to say literally before you said that, are we discounting the fact that not everyone's vision of an amazing night of music entertainment means that they're jumping up and down to Levels by Avicii, right? That's not everyone's vision. Some people's vision is just the best bar night ever.
Yes.
Right? And we learned that in the pandemic a little bit when there was some restrictions about can people dance and whatever. And people were like, man, is this still going to be fun if they can't dance? And we're like, those exact words, picture your best bar night you've ever had. Is always people dancing? No, they're conversation, they're jamming, they're singing along. So sometimes I think we get so wrapped up in, we need everybody with a glow stick in their hand jumping up and down, to Avicii, that we lose track maybe that they hired us because we're going to be managing their event exceptionally well. We work great with the venue. We're going to make sure everything's timed well. Their needs are going to be met. And then they have a blast at the bar and we're playing the music that they would play on jukeboxes their entire college career. And they're happy as a clam and shit. And we're like, oh, dance for his land. They're going to be pissed. And they're like, it was the best night ever.
Go ahead, Dre.
It is so funny that you say that and that we're talking about this today.
Because you have one tomorrow.
I have a wedding tomorrow, and they literally put on their planning workshop, we don't need the dance floor to be the center focus and a big part of our night. We just want to have fun. And I was like, I first looked at that, and my first reaction was like, what do I do? And then I looked at their must play list, and I'm like, all right, there are some songs that are definitely going to be dancers on here. And then there are some songs that I don't know which way they're going to go. And then I had another meeting after their planning workshop just to kind of get some clarification with them this week. And they're like, yeah, we just kind of want a night like, we had back when we were all hanging out in college.
That's awesome.
And we put on, somebody's iPod on but we want you there to kind of control it. And if there is people who want to get up and dance, take care of them. We're not saying you can't have a dance floor. We're just saying that it's not the main focus of our night.
And that's great. We forget
to them
because we get all we get focused on is how packed is that dance floor.
Yeah.
I'm not sure we've taught anybody anything. This is more like a therapy session for the three of us. I think.
But I think it's a lot of educated experience for three people who have been in the game a long time. And listen, I'll admit it. I was there in Eagle Land for a little bit, but you get to realize that it's not about us. And not that I was approaching an event that like I was on stage every single night, but I couldn't wait to play music that, gets the emotional response. You're not going to get that every single event. But when, like you said, when you have places that they pick you, like open houses or whatever, they're probably going to hire you based on you and what you deliver. So that gives you opportunity to do your thing.
I think if we're going to wrap some education on this, because we like these core topics, like to provide some kind of guidance, points, some education. I think what we're saying, what's worked best for us is show as much product in advance as possible. Let them know who you are.
Yeah.
This is who we are.
Yeah.
And that matters. And then you're communicating with the client and voicing concerns where appropriate, delicately, and getting feedback about what their vision is how we handle these situations that we're concerned about.
Yep. And don't slam the door. If you see something about a client that you're not into or you don't agree with or whatever, obviously you need to educate them, right? You know, if they want Metallica during dinner, we probably got to talk to them about that a little bit. You know what I mean? Or give them the reality. But you can't slam the door on it because you don't know what you don't know. Metallica dinners, let's go. You know, and like when some stepdad that I ran into in the bathroom last weekend at the wedding, at his daughter's wedding, is in town from California, and he's so excited. He's never been to Rochester. He's at this beautiful winery, and he comes over to me when we're dancing. He's like, "Hey, can you play Baby Shark?" In my mind, I'm like, fuck no. What? You know what I mean? Like, so, but he's like, it's, you know, he said the bride's name. It's her favorite song when she was growing up. So I play that.
How old was she?
Baby
Didn't
Shark
that
in
just
the
come out?
Sandstorm. And she was younger. And she loved it. She went running on the dance floor, and her and her girls were having fun with it. And he comes over with a big smile on his head, made a moment. But,
all right.
There it is. There's a core topic.
Maybe you learned something.
Hopefully.
Play Baby Shark.
Play Baby Shark is the takeaway. All right, Nikki, let's move on. Okay, so we're back from our core topic. Rich is getting out pen and paper. You get older. You got to take notes when you debate.
No, not really, because I had a protein bite on it, and then I was just getting the crumbs off. Anyways, all right, we're at birthday boy.
Do whatever tool you got to use to make this work for you. All right, so it's BPM. It's everybody's favorite segment of our show where two old DJs yell at each other. It's kind of like Grumpy Old Men, except the DJ version. Mickey, give us that BPM video.
Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bag.
All right, so if you haven't seen the show before, here's how this goes. Mickey over there in the booth is going to spin the golden wheel of death. He's going to pull out a topic that Rich and I are going to talk about 1 minute each, hence the name Beats Per Minute. We have Andre over there on the couch. He's going to chime in. We've got Jesse from Chaos on the phone here, and he's going to be the judge and tell us who's right. We'll see.
Okay, old man. He's not on the phone. First off, he's on the interwebs. And his name is Jesse, not Jesse. So let's forget.
It's been a long day. All right, Mickey, enough of this banter. Spin the wheel. Let's get after it.
All right, I got you. Number one, private event DJs have an obligation to cut off an inappropriate toast giver.
All right, Mickey, 1 minute on the clock for Richard, and hit it.
Go. All right. So on a technical sense, we're being contracted to provide audio and sound, not a filtration system of what happens with that, right? So if someone wants to go up and give remarks or whatever, who am I to cut them off and police that? I'm not going to get involved in a situation, with someone who's possibly consumed alcohol and trying to monitor that. So it's not my responsibility. I'm certainly not going to give that umbrella from the stage.
Give them the hook.
Yeah. The hook. Not my place.
Well, look, obviously I think you're mostly right, but as with everything that you do, it's close. It's a joke. No, but look, here's the deal, right? We do have an obligation in the realm here. Just let me add some more context. I think we do have some obligation, not obviously the night of, but we have obligation in advance the event to be talking to our client and find out, look, this is what happens with toast. And certainly our obligation is to not give a microphone to anyone they haven't given us authorization to. So we're telling them that right off the bat, like, hey, look, you guys are in charge. We don't give a mic to anybody that you don't tell us to right here on these notes, right? So that is our obligation, is to pre-work on that, and also hear what they have to say. I mean, perhaps the couple does have some kind of hey, I'm a little nervous about the best man if he's had too many. If he goes past 10 minutes, I'd love it if you guys could help. I mean, if they give us that feedback, certainly I don't mind stepping in. And I'll probably even tell the guy before he goes on, hey, by the way, here's our 10-minute limit or whatever that looks like. So I think we have some obligation here. It's not just like do whatever. Here's a microphone. So I think we have some obligation.
I just want to say that you took your full minute.
Yeah.
And Rich took 38 seconds.
Well, it's not hard to say. It's not my problem. I mean, you can wrap that up and real easy.
I agree with both of you. You both have valid points. So duke it out.
All right, Jesse's going to tell us who's right.
I'm with both of you. John, you mentioned the prep, but I think Rich basically hit the nail on the head as far as we can't just jump in and cut somebody off, or it's not our job. So without anything ahead of time in the heat of the moment, I think we just let them go with it, and they know it's not on the DJ to shut somebody up.
Because we know exactly what's going on during toasts, just like the weather person does forecasting weather. It's an exact science, brah.
All right, that was like whoever went first was right.
Happy birthday,
of course you're right.
Johnny.
You went
Roach.
first. I had to say something.
Right, well, you gave me the option.
I had to say something different.
You're like, go ahead. Okay,
Nick,
go
you
ahead.
spin the wheel.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Number 2, the geographic market you live and work in can limit your DJ rate. Agree or disagree?
I'm going to mostly disagree. I think that hey, that doesn't work in my market is the absolute first crutch that any DJ gives when you have the conversation about, hey, why aren't you charging enough? Well, in my market, that doesn't work. And I think time and time again, that's been proven scientifically that's not the case, right? If you can justify your rate, if you're offering a premium product, your geographic area is, there probably has something there to do with your market, like median income somewhere. But I think if the wording here, does it limit your rate? I think the answer is no. And I think it's been proven time and time again that is a kind of a mental crutch. And I think we've helped people with that. I mean, as consultants, we've gotten people past that. Like, hey, no, you got to stop thinking about that, like where you are as a crutch, and think deeper than that. So I'm going to say in the terms of this question, no, it should not limit your rate, but your geographic area.
So gas in New York is about $4.30 right now. Gas in California is almost $8. Two different geographies. It's the same gasoline.
But I think
charge more.
But I think the word limit here, right, is the key term. Like, does your geographic area limit your rate? And it shouldn't. And I think proven time and time again that it does not limit. Now, can it affect your rate? Sure. I mean, obviously, look. I mean, if we lived in LA, we talked to dudes that are in LA that I think their product is similar, if not as good as other products that I've seen, and they're getting $10,000. So
for sure,
I think it's circling ineffective. But I don't think that you should. The word limit here for me was what was the
so
word.
For the purposes of this discussion, I completely agree with you. Completely, wholeheartedly agree with you. But so I of course I had to leave because we have to have disappointing.
Joe Bunn yells at us when we agree.
Yeah. So, but the thing is like we can transplant ourselves right now and go to a larger city, New York City, Jersey, Las Vegas, California, and command $10,000. I remember talking to Marcello, and I found out that he's doing $15,000 bar mitzvahs, and I know I can hang with that. You know what I mean? But I'm in Rochester, New York, and I can only get like 3 or 4.
Rich, I'm not sure if you got the memo. We don't do mitzvahs anymore.
No, I get that. Yeah. But
never again. Dre, you have any input on that before we let Jesse tell me that I'm right?
I don't.
Well,
very good. Well said.
He's not the best color man in the biz for nothing.
What movie is that from?
Huh?
What movie is that from?
Major League.
Major League,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks,
bro.
Again, you guys have both hit the nail on the head. I mean, you guys, it's like a double-edged sword, and you guys are the
metaphor. Someone get Andre a beer. That's the day we've had. Behind the scenes. All right, Jesse, what do you think?
John, I definitely think you're right. If there's anybody that could use their market as a crutch, nobody even knows where my state is.
Right.
I mean, I'm in the middle of a cornfield and I am charging double the prices of any of my competition, and I'm more booked than any of my competition. I won't necessarily say I'm the best DJ in Omaha or the best anything, but business-wise, it kind of shows on paper that we're doing the right things.
You got to do the brand. You've got to do the brand. If you're good and you look the part, Stop using your market as a crutch. Seriously.
And that argument, by the way, occurs 24 hours a day. I mean, I don't know how many DJ forums you guys are in. I'm in all of them because I use it for marketing for like the show and stuff. But this conversation happens. It's happening right now. There's some forum where this is happening where someone's like, hey, not in my market.
And you know what? The worst thing is, before we move off this, the worst thing is we are our own worst enemy. Let's get out of our way. Let's get out of our own way. It's not your issue. It's not their issue. It's your issue. So charge more. Charge what you're worth. Don't be afraid. Try it, and it'll work. Trust me.
Very good. All right. We kumbaya'd on that one. That's disappointing. All right, Mickey, give us a good one for number 3.
All right, which one of these is more stressful? A big do not play list that's packed with bangers, or a big must play list but packed with lameness?
1 minute on the clock.
For me, in my opinion, what's more stressful to me is a do not play list that's full of hot. So I personally take as a challenge a must play list that's full of lame, because I want to, first of all, it's not my wheelhouse. I want to try different things, and no one knows the crowd and their friends and family better than the couple. So maybe they know something that I don't know. So I'm going to use that to my advantage. I'm going to try to work with it and feel it out. But I had a recent wedding like that, and it turned out just fine. So I know that to be true from my point of view.
God damn it. Of course that's right.
Come on, man. Damn.
We may have to do a 4th one because we agree. And look, I'm not even going to pretend that I disagree. It asks very simply the question, what's more stressful? It is definitely more stressful to have a big do not play list full of bangers, because you got to think every time you get into your own rhythm, right? Our own little routines that we do and you know, our favorites, and you're going to think the whole night is on my, every time before you load a track, you're looking at the stupid list. With a big must play list of lameness, you can find ways to handle that. You talk with a client, you get some of it in cocktail hour, but like that, the big do not play list full of bangers is stressful because, well, there's 2 Pitbull songs on here. That means they hate all of Pitbull, or like, you know what I mean? Can I not play that at all? It's in your head all freaking night, and you keep asking your assistant, wait, I'm about to load this. Was it on the list? It's stressful.
Well, what about for you? When you certainly have routines or certain songs you go in and out of, or certain effects or whatever you do for certain points of the song. If you can't do that because it's a bunch of new music, do you feel like you're not giving the client your best performance?
So I'll give my opinion on your guys' answers, and I think you're both wrong.
Oh, really?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Very good.
Let's go.
Let's
I
focus on
agree
that.
with chaos.
So my opinion is that the must play list would be more stressful because it's a must play. They're telling you what you need to play, and there's not a lot of way around that. Yeah, you can fit it into cocktail hour or whatever, but if it's a whole bunch of crappy music that you know is going to kill the vibe, you don't have a lot of control over that. Where if they ban 50 of your bangers, you can still dig and find 50 other bangers that you can play. So I think you've got a lot more opportunity with a do not playlist because you can go around it.
Cool.
Versus a must playlist.
Yeah,
it's a good point.
Dre, you wanted to add to that too? You agree with him? Why can't I talk today? You agree with him?
I don't know. I certainly agree. If I have a big playlist, and I guess my first thing is some clarification. Are they at the same time? To clarify the question, do I have a do not playlist with 50 bangers and a lame playlist, or do I have one or the other?
It's one or the other.
Okay, so if that's the case, if I have a do not playlist and all of my usual bangers are on there, all that does for me is add a couple hours of prep work for the wedding. Because if there are 50 bangers that are your go-to bangers and they're all on the do not playlist, you still have 150 bangers that aren't on that list.
Yeah, but aren't you thinking about it? I mean, I think the word here that I stuck with me on the question was stressful, right? Like, you're not, if you see that big giant list on the do not play list and it's like half of it is your normal, like, staple stuff, that doesn't like affect you the rest of the night. Even, okay, yes, you're going to prep, you're going to find 150 bangers you are going to use, but like, doesn't make you think, like, every time, if I'm about to play a Cardi B song and I know this one's not on the do not playlist, but doesn't it make you think like there's 3 on the do not playlist? Like you're not thinking, God damn, like is this one okay? You know what I mean? Like I don't know. For me, that's why it's more stressful because the thinking doesn't stop with the prep. If they have a must play list full of lame, I mean, yes, that sucks, and you got to figure out ways to get it in. And you're doing creative things to fit it into places and whatever. But like if it doesn't cause me like the stress of thinking about it the whole event, where the do not playlist, I'm second guessing myself and like, what do they really mean? And I don't know.
What do you feel like you're not giving them your full performance if you're not able to do your routine?
I would feel more like I wasn't giving my full performance if they stuck me with the lame songs, where I would just be, okay, you gave me a playlist. I'm going to play it. I'm going to do my time. I'm going to go home. I don't feel that's my top performance. Where if they did give me that don't playlist, you know, they said, don't play Little John, don't play Eminem, don't play, you know, these bangers. And then you're like, well, shit, what do I play? But then you throw out, you know, All Star by Smash Mouth and it slays. Then, you know, maybe we can go that emo rock route. Maybe we could just go around it and find another, you know, banging set that we don't use on a regular basis.
Perfect. And the best way you should be observing cocktail hours. You should be, I'm a big proponent of actively live mixing during cocktail hours if you can, during dinner, and just seeing what works. I mean, you throw out these feelers, right? And if All Star works, like you said, you can go that route and you can go down that rabbit hole. And
I feel you.
You can't do that on an iTunes auto mix or Spotify.
Well, are we calling that BPM or we do one more?
That's good.
That's good. All right. That was BPM. I don't know how we scored that. Mickey's gonna have to.
I think I won. It's all right.
We'll go with that.
Yeah.
We'll say that.
Happy birthday. I won.
I appreciate that. All right. So while we got Jess here, we're going to jump right into... I'm laughing already because I hope Mickey doesn't bring up one of his again because that'd be weird. But it's Setup Wars time. It's our favorite segment. BPM is probably the favorite segment of the crowd, but for us, Setup Wars is our favorite. We're excited. Mickey, give me that Setup Wars video. So this is Setup Wars. Thank you to all of you in our community who bravely sent us your setup pictures for us to evaluate, again, for entertainment purposes only. We're going to talk about them as a group. We're going to give it a score from 0 to 10. Dre's going to give some weird decimal point answer and probably call something slender. Let's do it. Mickey, you ready? All right, give us setup number 1. Dre, since you were so safe during the BPM and just agree with everybody, why don't you start with this? So you have no one else to agree with but yourself. You can start first.
I like the setup. I like this setup because visually he blends into the background. I mean, it's you actually have to look for his gear. The speakers are there and you see him, but everything else, I mean, we're not the centers of attention at these events, you know? And I like that because this is very much sleek and slender. And,
there we go.
And
ding, ding.
It blends.
Rich?
Props to the Adam and Eve setup. You know, I love everything, and I'm so glad to see black speakers in a white. I wanted to see the black and white contrast to see how that looked. It looks really, really good. I mean, this DJ, even with the old school microphone, I mean, the whole setup looks completely dope. I don't think Big Ern would like the speakers that close to the table.
Yeah, Big Ern would yell at us.
You know, I get what you're kind of doing with the olive branches or the greenery and stuff. I don't know. I think it's kind of a little like Poison Ivy from Batman
may not have been his choice.
I was wondering if, I guess my question for this, not to jump in and cut you off, but I was wondering is that from the DJ or is that from the designer of the event?
But this whole, it's probably one of the best I've seen. Looks real good. It's got me thinking twice about getting black. Well, I already have black speakers, but getting a white pedestal. So
yeah.
I saw this picture set up in one of the groups and it caught my attention. So it definitely, I think it's super, super clean. I think the blacks, I'm a white everything type of guy, white speakers and stuff. But I think in this situation with his black suit and with the black movers, I think it works well. And I love that he did not put uplights on those totems.
Yes. Thank God. Thank God. Right. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Look, you know what's so funny? And if you've watched this show more than one time, when we get to setup wars, everyone's going to predict what I'm going to say is like, I prefer everything black, right? Look, DJs, I know normally we're very attracted to everything being white. I usually prefer everything being black. This is the one case where I'm going to say that's wrong. Like, I like the white here. Like, if this was all black, which is my normal preference, I mean, look, I think all white setups looks great. I think Jesse's setup looks great. I've seen it before. It's awesome. This is the first time, though, I think that I've seen an example where I've like, no, wait, the white here is better. I mean, it matches his aesthetic of the venue so much better. I mean, it looks like that gear was built for this venue. And I'm not sure, like maybe the DJ did build his furniture piece to match the aesthetic of the venues he works in, and this being one of them, but it is nails. I mean, it fits the aesthetic of the venue so well. My first question too was, was it the DJ's idea to put the greenery there, or did like the planner, the designer, the coordinator, whoever, think that looks good? I'm not in love with that either. I think it was one step too far, where it would have been so much cleaner without the greenery. But it is dope. Yeah, and I agree. I think normally I don't like it when it's mixed, when it's like, hey, it's white furniture and white totems with black gear. Yeah. But the way the column arrays match the movers and his black laptop skin, I mean, I think it's a great look. This might be the best one we've ever seen. Yeah. And again, techie guys would say that the speakers are too close together. I don't know, man. That stuff to me, you move it if it doesn't sound good, but you do what you got to do. But I think this is probably the best one we've ever seen. All right, Dre, why don't you give this thing a score? Whoever you are, good job.
I'm going to give it a 9.
9er. Jesse?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a solid 9. Clean, no wires. I'd want it at my wedding.
Definitely. I'm trying to figure out what I would want him to do differently. I mean, we've never given a 10 for anything. But I'm trying to figure out, literally in my mind, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that the greenery was not his idea. I guess it could be. In my mind, the story I'm telling was like some designer thought that was cool. I don't think there's a DJ alive who's going to cover his mover in greenery. I just don't think so. So I'm going to give him 9.5 because I think this is the best one that we've ever seen. I definitely think it is.
Jesse, you're talking about your furniture at the beginning. What type of furniture do you have?
So my main booth is the Toadmatic. It's a 55-inch luxury Matic.
Whoa.
You got to see it. It's dope.
I got to see that.
Yeah, it's dope. Rich is going to go buy one because watch.
Well, it's just paralysis by analysis. I mean, you're looking at so many, and it's just, you get white, you get black, and there's always that decision.
This is the first time that, I mean, look, I love Jesse's setup, but to me, this is the first time that I think where I've seen it, where I think they made the better decision being white. I think it's perfect. All right,
Mickey, what else
you got? There's no way they're going to give me a good one after that one. This one's going to be a dumpster fire. Storm. Because there's no way you'll give us another good one. Okay. Ooh, wow. Never mind. That is good.
I have played with projectors as far as using them in place of a mover with haze and, breaking up the light and stuff. And that's what this guy did. And I did see the picture from the other side pointing at the dance floor, and it looked really cool. I think there's a lot of setup involved to that.
Yeah.
But I like, so. I appreciate that he's going different and doing his own thing.
Yeah.
The one thing that I really wish he did was not put his cart where he did with his cases and stuff.
Yeah. It makes you wonder if this is actually in a van or if he just snapped a shot real quick before unloading. Yeah, I've seen that idea too of someone using a projector instead of a mover to give that same kind of effect. The kind of the beams through the haze kind of thing. It's a lot going on. I mean, I think that this might have been accomplished with 2 of those instead of 4. I mean, I'm judging, I guess, and maybe you guys have seen the other side of this. It would make more sense and better context, but it doesn't look like a huge room, right? And like the setup involved here to like sync 4 projectors to do some kind of pattern projection. That seems like a lot of freaking work, but look, I know we've seen this DJ before. I know that we've seen another one they submitted because I remember the controller on the keyboard stand thing that brought up a lot of debate for us of whether we like that or not. Yeah. Because I remember it was the mixture of the keyboard stand kind of thing with the tubes, and it was a different venue. Remember, it was the venue.
It was a darker venue
with all the windows behind it or whatever. Yeah. And that looks so nasty. It looks like he was in freaking outer space. It was sick. I mean, obviously, I dig it. I mean, for me, minimalistic is key. I mean, we make that part of our presentation to our clients, and high-end clients continually tell us that minimalistic is their preference, like Disappear. And so I think it definitely nails that. Those tubes are dope. The gear's all black. I give that high five. I'm all about that. I would really love to know more about the room, because if that thing in the middle is another sub, then really here the bass response is going to way out carry what I know that those EVs can do. I mean, those EV columns, I mean, are nice, they're clean, but they're not like.
Are they EVs or RCFs?
I think those are EVs, right? Yeah, those are EV. Those are. Yeah, so I know what those can do. I've heard them a million times, and it seems like I have a lot of fucking bass for those tops. But I mean, I don't know what's going on in the room. Maybe it's a deaf prom or something. I have no idea. But it's dope. I really like it.
All that, yes. The only hole I'm going to poke in this is it seems it's different to me, the transparency of the presentation.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, I
so
get it.
you can see through everything. I'm not used to seeing that. So I don't want to say it's a bad thing. It's just different for me. And obviously, well, you can put a facade in front of that, but then you'd be blocking those Astera tubes. So, you know, props to this DJ for doing something different.
It's brave, man. It's bold.
It's great.
It's brave.
It's bold. You know, you're doing the tubes at different levels. Janai put out a great video when he first got his, and he was unpacking those, and you know what he uses at different size stands and stuff.
Yeah, Joe did too.
Yeah, it's awesome. Good, nice work.
It's bold.
Yeah.
It looks like a lot, so I'm not a fan of it. I mean, I feel like, and I think somebody else already said this, the same could have been accomplished with less of a footprint. It just looks like...
You mean just less stuff?
Yeah, less stuff. You know, you can accomplish the same goal with less equipment. I've never been a fan of DJing on a table like that. And I agree that there's probably most likely 98% too much
not
bass.
unless you're at the Sinclair.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no room whatsoever to
Let me pose you the question real quick.
Yeah.
I mean to like stay on this one. We got to move on. But like, if it wasn't a keyboard, whatever that is, a keyboard stand, whatever it is, and that was just like a bun pedestal or the pedestal like we have, you know, the Pro X, would that be better? It'd be better, right?
It would be, but the sub in the center, front center, to me, would still be out of place.
Yeah, I don't know what we're doing with that.
And I think that's really the pinprick in it of it all for me, is that sub is out of place because
it's interesting.
Is it needed? I give it a score of 6.72.
Weirdo. Jesus.
Okay. Wow.
Rich.
I'll give it an 8.
Yeah, I think I'm a 7.5. I think, Dre, you might have hit on something there about like we're just trying to do too much.
Yeah. Right.
I get it, but I give the person, whoever they are, he or she, like a lot of props for being bold, because they're trying things that I think high-end clients are telling us that they're looking for, right? If someone said, hey, look, yeah, we want that minimalistic setup, this person's gone to that extreme, right? Yeah. Like, make it transparent, make the thing go away. Definitely. So I appreciate that about it, the boldness. And this, who knows, maybe some of this becomes like the staple. So I'm at an 8. Jesse, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm right in that 7 to 8 mark. There's definitely plenty of things that could be changed or improved, so a little bit of cable management. And I'm a big advocate on working smarter, not harder.
Yes,
if you can work a little bit smarter and get the same effect, if we could go down to 2 projectors or replace it with a couple of different lights that could produce the same effect, I'd like to see that a little more.
Do you roll with 1 or 2 people at your events for weddings?
So I always take 2 for mine.
Nice. Good stuff.
All right, cool. All right, Mickey, you gave us 2 good ones. The next one has got to be a train wreck, or otherwise this will be the most positive episode of Setup Wars of all times. Well,
somebody submitted this to you guys?
Yeah. So he's DJing in a snack bar in the snow, put his RCFs in the snow.
Well, if anyone's going to want RCFs at a top of a snow launch, it's an Aspen.
That's kind of a flex, right? I mean, like, those are nice speakers, and they're not cheap right now. And he's flexing like he doesn't give a shit. He's put them in the snow. F you.
Like 2 G's a piece.
That's a flex of weirdness right there.
Right.
But okay, yeah, so it's weird. He's outside, but I mean, that's the event. I'm not sure why we're not putting down something to put your speakers on. So that's weird. Can you imagine? Okay, Mickey, just real quick, Dre, can you imagine if we got hired to do some kind of outdoor event in the snow? We live in a place where there's snow. Can you imagine the insanity of ass kicking that would occur? The text we would get if we sent a picture or put a picture on Instagram of us putting RCFs directly in the snow, right? We would get an ass kicking of epic proportions. What the fuck are you guys think you're doing? Get my RCFs out of the snow. All right, I don't know. This is a funny one, Mickey. Anyone else have an opinion about RCFs in the snow?
I'm more worried about the power cable that's running in the background, like where that's going, why it's not better protected. But I think this guy's trolling the shit out of us.
Yes, I think that's true.
Maybe grab like a white extension cord if you want to. If you got enough quality for RCFs, you can, bro.
If you can afford to put your RCFs in the snow,
get yourself a white extension cord.
You should have bought some white RCFs.
Man,
Seriously.
yeah. If this, if there was no shadows on the ground, I would say this is Photoshop to f with us. But I think it is. I think it's a troll job.
Yeah.
But he gets a 6 from me for a good troll job.
Yeah, I'll take a 6.
Very good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, that was Setup Wars, and that was our episode of The Real DJ Show.
Good stuff, man. We'll have a better birthday lunch for you. I
appreciate that.
Your experience in BPM, but
Thank you.
It's okay. There's always next week.
We're super stoked to have Jesse with us. Jess, thanks for joining us. We appreciate that, man. We'll have to do this again. It was a lot of fun.
But hey, real quick, we need to get us socials.
Yeah, Jesse, where can they find you?
Facebook, it is Chaos Productions DJ and Photo Booth Service. I'm really busting hard on my TikTok, so it is the DJ Chaos. Go hit me on TikTok so we can start doing those lives.
All right,
All right, we'll do that right now.
Good stuff, man.
Yeah.
All right, Jess, we appreciate you.
much.
All right, that's it for us. Another episode of The Real DJ Show is in the books. We want you along every time, so make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and ring the little bell so you get notifications of all of our new content. We know you're DJs and have a lot to say, so jump in the comment section to join the debate. If you have content suggestions or you want your DJ company featured on The One Thing, email us at TheRealDJShow@rochesterdj.com. Lastly, if you're sick enough that you want to take the audio of this with you wherever you go, you can find the audio everywhere quality podcasts are found. All right, that's it for us. Show's over, bitches.